How can we use our mind to spark up sexual desire? I'm Dr. Jen, the MD Sexpert. I'm an OBGYN, author of The Sex Drive Solution for Women, Chief Medical Officer of Body Logic MD, and creator of the Rewire Your Desire program to help women with low sex drive get their passion back. Welcome to video 1 of my free course on how to rekindle your desire. In this first of 3 videos, I'm going to share with you the 3 focused practices that will heat up your desire in just minutes a day. First, I'll talk about the role of your senses and how you can learn to use them to spark up your passion. Next, I'll explain how you can tune into your body mindfully to be receptive to arousal. You'll learn to quiet those busy thoughts in your head, the ones that are preventing you from experiencing intimacy. Finally, I'll share the practice I call Rewire to Receive. This practice will open you to sex as you've never experienced it before. When I lost my passion at age 28, I was frustrated and surprised. The most frustrating part, though, was that I was just finishing up my residency, my training to become an OBGYN, and I hadn't learned anything about how to address this issue for myself or for my patients. Here I am, supposed to be a women's health expert, and I knew nothing about this important area of women's health. Sex and passion reach into so many areas: self-confidence, hormone balance, intimacy, and life satisfaction. My lack of interest in the bedroom led me on a journey. I set about to learn what I could do to bring back my desire. And in the course of restoring my mojo, I learned how to help other women restore theirs. After I was already a practicing OBGYN, I spent 4 more years getting trained in an area of medicine that looks at how the whole body works and how to keep people healthy, not just treat their symptoms with drugs. It's called integrative medicine. I'm fortunate to be one of the early doctors trained in integrative medicine. Every day in my practice, I encounter women who've lost their sexual desire. If you're one of these women struggling with lost desire, I want you to know it doesn't matter where you're starting from or how long it's been going on. You can reignite your sexual flames. I can help you rediscover your desire. I've helped myself and my patients as an OBGYN and as a bioidentical hormone specialist. Now, I'm on a mission to help women everywhere. I believe that through the information and support I provide in my online videos and program, I can help women lead sexier, healthier, happier, and more fulfilled lives. When women struggle with low sex drive, it's because a few key factors have gotten in their way. I help women find the causes of their decreased desire and make the necessary changes to feel sexy again. A lot of women tell me that they're busy and overwhelmed with life. They don't have time for one more thing. The good news is that these practices take just minutes a day, and they're fun. When you spend just minutes a day increasing your passion, you'll improve so many areas of your life. It's worth it. A lot of my patients tell me they just don't feel sexy anymore. Maybe they've let themselves go. Maybe they've had medical issues. Maybe they've lost their self-confidence. If you've lost your mojo, I can help you find ways to overcome your body image issues and get back your self-confidence. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. You can get your passion back. I wrote the Sex Drive Solution for Women because I wanted to share my knowledge of how to bring women back to sexual health. I train doctors on the same topic so that they know what to say and what treatments to advise when women with low sex drive come into their offices. I've been fortunate to be a regular on Health Talk with Dr. Manny on Fox News and as a sexpert for Men's Health magazine. I've been interviewed in Shape magazine, Elle, Oprah.com, and other magazines and TV radio programs with my message that you can fix your passion problems in a natural, healthy way. I developed a program that my patients have used to reclaim their lost passion. It took me 15 years of practice after receiving my MD to turn this research into a powerful program that you can use to restore your feminine power and make your relationship thrive. I'm here with this information to make the process shorter for you. Let me tell you a little bit about why I think getting your sex drive back is so important. Sex does all kinds of different things in our brain and in our body. It creates a whole hormonal environment that's completely different than what you have when you're not having sex. Sex creates energy, it creates passion, it gives you that zest for life and that mojo that you're looking for. And the reason it does that is because it ups your feel-good hormones and changes your brain chemistry. I have patients who come into my office and tell me, in my 20s, I had this excellent sex drive. It was great. And now it's gone. In your 20s, your hormones are all fired up. Sex then is about instinct, the urge to reproduce. Then we get older and we lose the intensity of that desire. This isn't to say that we can't have the best sex life we've ever had. We can, and I can teach you ways to reach that. Your lust may not drive you with the same intensity, but your passion is still there. You just need to learn how to tune into it in a new way. Sex may not be automatic, but with some knowledge, you can become receptive to your passions and allow them to rise. Your passion rises in response to something, a spark. I'm going to show you what your spark is and how to turn it into a flame so that you can eagerly look forward to making love with your partner. The first practice is tuning into your senses. Do you know what arouses you? Not just for sex, what arouses you in the world around you? Does the smell of jasmine turn you on? Does hearing music stimulate you? What type of music really gets you going? If you're like most women, you're really busy and you prioritize. So I want to ask you, do you know what arouses you? You remember the 5 senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. Your body is feeding you information from your 5 senses. Are you paying attention? Arousal is when your senses become alerted and your body becomes ready to respond. Your senses send the body and the mind a signal to pay attention. Are you listening? The first practice is easy to do while you're doing other things. I want you to do it all day long. The first practice I have for you is tuning into your senses, listening to the signals that your senses are sending, appreciating the world around you through your senses. The next time you eat a meal, look at your plate. Note the colors, the textures, breathe in, smell it, touch it. Your eating experience will change from an ordinary experience to a sensory explosion. Here's what I want you to remember. You can change anything in your life from ordinary to extraordinary simply by tuning into your senses. Now let's talk about sex. I challenge you to tune into your senses and pay attention to the signals you're receiving. Your body will tell you what arouses you, what makes you relax and feel sensual, the moments when you feel playful. Write these down on a go-to list for getting in the mood. Use this list. Share it with your partner. If those soulful blues pique your sensual nature, he needs to know. If you get turned on when he takes the kids to the park or does the dishes, put it on the list. All day long, your senses are giving you important messages. Tune in and listen to your senses and the magic will happen. Tuning into your senses doesn't take extra time in your day. Writing on your list takes just a few seconds. The results are that you will experience each moment in a new and different way. It will change your experience of life and love, and it can change the level of intimacy between you and your partner. Practice 2 is mindfulness. Face it, we're busy with our households, children, careers. We've got a lot to think about and a lot on our minds. I call this next practice mindfulness. Women find themselves thinking about the past and the future. Maybe they're thinking about how things went wrong or right. Maybe they're anxious or excited about what will happen next. Most likely, they're thinking about all of these things at once. Imagine you're having sex and suddenly you find yourself remembering that you have to put out Johnny's soccer cleats into his backpack for his game the next day. Has this ever happened to you? Then you know what I mean. When I think about mindfulness, I think about my patient Peg. Peg was stressed, and stress was getting in the way of her passion. Here's what I noticed about Peg, and I told her so. Peg was constantly checking her BlackBerry. I could tell that when she was talking to me, she wasn't paying attention too much, and she was thinking about the things that she had to do later on and tomorrow. Peg and I worked on mindfulness. Weeks later, Peg found herself getting down on the floor and playing games with her kids. She found that she was happier and less fretful. In this relaxed state, she became more receptive to her sensual side, and her husband loved the results. Mindfulness is when you manage to think about just one thing at a time, when you live in the present moment. Sure, you have to plan for tomorrow, but you don't have to plan it right now. The moment that is here is now, and it only comes once. 98% of sex happens in your mind. If you let your mind wander, you can lose the mood. If you lose the mood, you sacrifice your intimacy. Mindfulness is an important part of restoring your sex drive, and it takes practice. When you practice mindfulness, all of your experiences become more pleasurable and more intense. When you practice mindfulness during sex, don't be surprised to find yourself the next day reflecting on your passionate experience and wanting more again soon. Here are 2 great tips for practicing mindfulness. First, picture a shelf. Now take all the clutter from your mind, put it on the shelf. Then put the shelf in a closet and close the closet door. Or before making love, write everything down that's in your head on a list. Put the list someplace safe in another room and go make love. Mindfulness takes practice, but it's easy to do and it doesn't take a lot of your time. Practicing mindfulness improves all of your relationships with your family, your friends, and your partner. Yoga is a great way to practice mindfulness. Most yoga teachers will instruct you to leave your thoughts at the door, outside the yoga class. Click the link below for a fun download, New Ways of Practicing Mindfulness Through Yoga. 7 yoga poses that help to raise your sexual desire. Practice number 3, Rewire to Receive. The final practice that I'm about to show you is what I call Rewire to Receive. This practice will help you become more intimate with your partner. Now, whatever you do, don't think about a 2-week-old puppy, all fuzzy and soft with big eyes and floppy ears. What are you thinking about? If you're like most people, you're thinking about a puppy. Maybe you're already trying to figure out if his name is Bandit or Bear. Remember when you first fell in love? Your mind was full of thoughts about your lover's touch. In this practice, I will show you how to rewire to receive. First, the rewire part. It's easy. I want you to open your thoughts to sex a few times each day. These are easy and pleasurable thoughts that you can allow to gently and repetitively drift through your mind. Let's spend a minute thinking about sex. If your first thought is your frustration with your sex drive, reach beyond that, just for a minute. How does it feel to be touched? What does it feel like just before an orgasm? Just after? What about when you kiss or cuddle? I tell my patients to put think about passion on their to-do list. I want you to think about passion a few times each day. It could be when you're driving, walking, or at the gym. We want these thoughts to become your habit. Thinking about sex is how you rewire your thoughts. Maybe you think about sex when you hear a particular song. Then play that song several times a day. Maybe the smell of a rose can trigger you. Keep a rose at your desk. Build a language all your own and rewire your mind. Once you've rewired, once you've gotten yourself in the habit of thinking openly sensuous thoughts a few times a day, you'll naturally become receptive to rising passions when the time is right. A lot of women don't tend to naturally think about sex. Maybe you're busy with your life, worried about your kids. I have a male patient who confided in me that he'd be okay if he was on the bottom of the totem pole, but he felt like he wasn't even on the totem pole. Put your man on the totem pole by rewiring yourself to be receptive to sex by habitually thinking about sex. Many men, possibly your partner, use sex as a gauge for love and self-confidence. You can improve a lot of intimacy issues simply by thinking about your lover's touch and feel a few times each day. If thinking these thoughts seems contrived, my advice is fake it till you make it. Keep the thoughts drifting in and out of your mind, and ultimately you'll be rewiring yourself for reception. The reward is a vital, exciting, and passionate life. I want to hear from all of you. Leave me your comments and your questions right here on this page. I'll see you in video 2, where you'll learn how your hormones impact every aspect of your life. I'll show you 5 easy practices to get your hormones balanced and flowing naturally. Watch your inbox for an email from me with a link to video 2 and learn all about the 5 natural practices that can really make your love life soar. Until then, wishing you the best of great health, great happiness, and of course, great sex.